Robby, what is your name?
My name is Robby Robinson. Call me the Black Prince.
Hey, wait a minute. Let me make the double shot. The double bicep shot for this lady here. Hit it quick here. Hit a double bicep shot. Come on now. Hit 3 shots. All right.
Hey everybody, this is Artemus Dolgin with Golden Aesthetics. Super excited to be here. I'm in the oldest gym in the States, the Stearns Gym, with the legendary Black Prince, Robby Robinson. Robby, thank you so much for making this happen, for bringing us to this gym, and just being here, man. Thank you so much.
Definitely.
It's such a pleasure and an honor to meet you.
Glad to be here, Artemus.
Robby, I mean, there are a lot of young kids that are watching this podcast, a lot of young audience, people that don't really know much about old school bodybuilding and old school legends. They might heard about you, but they don't know you as a person. They don't know you as a bodybuilder. Tell us about yourself. What were you born? How did you end up getting into bodybuilding? And where is your swag comes from?
I'm from Florida. I was born and raised in Florida. My family originally came from Georgia to Florida. And you're talking about a family that were basically built on living off the land. So that's how I basically grew up, living off, what was there available, or whatever they planted, or if they were had an access of farm animals. So I grew up on a farm. So growing up on a farm allowed me to establish myself early on as eating healthy. That's how I grew up. I didn't just start to eat healthy and look the way I look as I do at 70 years old.
Yeah, you look amazing.
I started at a very young age, and I think what is happening at this point in my life is what I've done when I was younger. And I think it played a huge role in my longevity. I think it also slowed down the whole aging process in my body. I think my mindset and what I feel about life and things. And I've always been very positive about things. I never, something happened, you don't sit there and drag over it. Kind of just move on because something great is going to come right after. So that's how I pretty much live my life.
How did you end up getting into bodybuilding, and how old were you?
When I first started into bodybuilding, I was like, I was born with a hereditary disease called sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia, when you get ill from it, the blood cycle, the blood corpuscles are half moon shaped. So basically if you get an illness from it, they collect in the bloodstream. You can either have aneurysm of the brain, you can have a heart attack. I was not supposed to be here. But I was able to start very young, got tired of being sick all the time as a kid, and I just applied to what I learned from Jack LaLanne. That's where it all started. I was like 5, 6 years old, sitting in a chair. I was always sick, man. I got sick of being sick. And I thought, like, gotta be something. I started, even in my home, I started hiding in my home because I was just always sick. And I think I wanted to kind of just disappear in a sense. When you're young like that, all kind of things get into your mindset. And I started watching Jack LaLanne. When I started watching Jack LaLanne at that age, he kind of like gave me the strength to make changes. I started working out with him every morning in my mom's living room. And I noticed I started feeling better. So I thought, okay, I'm going to keep this up. And I noticed you always talking about eating, supplements and doing the good things. And I started to play into that. I would take my little money from school, from where I worked. I would start buying supplements at a very young age, starting to read about them. And I realized that it was helping my body. I was getting better. I was getting stronger. Which by the time I was like 12, 13, I already had a body. Because I started out very young, doing all the things that it would help create this body now.
When did you decide to take it competitively and you decided to compete and to be a bodybuilder?
I started competing at probably around about 15, 16.
And you compete till now?
Yeah, and competed.
You probably have the longest competition career out of any bodybuilder that I know.
Oh yeah, I competed probably 200-300 times when I was in the AAU and things like this. I was going to all the competitions every weekend. I wanted to know everything about it, and the more I got into it, I noticed the more my body responded. So I started thinking like, wow, maybe I can turn this into something good. So I started really following the whole sport up until I was about 18, 19. I'm gonna say probably about 18, 19 years. I probably already had won probably all the shows that you would probably want to win, but they didn't keep records in those days.
What was the bodybuilder that you were looking up to the most when you were?
In that time period, it was Boy and Cole. But Boy and Cole was one of the people that helped me right out. He sent me protein, he sent me Pose and Breathe, And he sent me letters of, of encouragement because I had sent him some pictures of myself, getting ready for competition. So he became like a, a mentor in a sense. And from that point on, he kind of basically stayed in touch with me throughout my career. He kept encouraging me and things like that. So I got better and better.
When did you move to California?
I came to Los Angeles 75. I came here with $7. I had $7 in my pocket, a one-way airline, Eastern Airline ticket, which Eastern Airlines is no more in existence.
Right.
But I came out here with that one-way ticket and stayed. And I wasn't readily accepted into bodybuilding right away because I did have a good physique. I understood that right.
One of the best physiques ever.
Yeah, I had a good physique.
Nobody really knows that that's your physique, that Joel Weider.
Yeah, exactly. But
out of everybody, he picked you.
Yeah, I got out here and things just changed. My body responded to the training. I got a chance to work with Arnold, Franco, and Zane, Wall, and all the guys. In those days, you got challenged. You couldn't just come and go to the gym and train.
What kind of environment and what kind of relationship?
Oh, but it was brutal. There was no, these guys, they didn't jack no draws. You had to go in there and train. It's not like, no disrespect to the guys today, there was nothing, anything like that.
Thank you for bringing this up.
You had to go in there and train.
Absolutely.
You had to handle some weight. You had to have a mindset of, I'm going to be the best. That's just how it was. Nobody wore shoes. Everybody with bare feet, short pants, raggedy shirts.
Yeah, you had an amazing style. I look through the pictures sometimes and I see you wearing tank tops that tied
together.
Yeah, you had absolutely amazing swag. And I feel like I'm very similar to you in that. I come from poverty, so
yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly.
I used to make all these little outfits from whatever I could make and kind of transition into what I'm doing
now.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's why we're both wearing sunglasses.
Always.
Wouldn't understand why wearing sunglasses in the gym or inside. This is just a part of my personality.
It's personality, yeah.
I don't care what you think. It's what I like.
That's what I like.
And that's it. Well, looking in the mirror, I was like, man, that looks great. That pleases my eye. That's all I need.
That's how I feel about it too. I have always just kind of gone my own way. Set my own standards. Be in my best shape when I do compete. Be in my best shape if I have to go do an exhibition or seminar or work with people. I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing people change, make changes in their life, changes in their physique. So.
How did your training progress since you started, and how did you progress in bodybuilding, understanding the physical exercising, understanding the sets, understanding the reps? How did your methods and techniques evolve during your career? How your technique, at the gym, the exercising, the form, there's just the approach to bodybuilding. I'm sure you started with the base, right?
Yeah.
You started with just basic, squats and presses.
Yeah.
And then you probably transitioned to maybe a deeper relationship with
Exactly. I basically started out with, when I first started working, I was working out 6 days a week. I was training each body part every day. I had no inclination of guidelines of what you should do, and my body responded to it. So I thought, okay, volume. So I stayed with volume for years. I never changed. I still to this day go back and do volume. I even do volume with heavy weight on the heavy weekdays. I'll go in there and do volume, 10 sets of 5, 20 sets of 5 for a body part. I'll do that because that basic exercise is what basically builds the whole foundation.
So do you keep the intensity during the volume, or you vary the intensity depending on the week?
I like to take the heaviest weight that I can and do my most reps. That's what I thrive for. I'll work up. When I get to that heaviest weight, it's just make or break time, and I'm going to go for the highest reps. And sometimes I won't do that. Sometimes I'll do just 5. I'll do 5 for 30 minutes, or just nothing but behind the neck press, 5 for nothing but incline press, 5 for nothing but barbell rolls. I'll just do 5 reps, but I end up doing probably 15 or 20 sets of 5s.
How's your diet changing? How now people go into off-season and they try to eat everything inside just to gain weight, and then they cut down and they start using a lot of drugs because they cannot get tight on time because they've been overeating during the off-season. How did you guys do it back in the day? How was the off-season looked, or you just kind of kept the lean look throughout the year?
I have to be honest with you, there was really no guideline. Nobody took supplements. Nobody really used the protein powders back in those. Nobody. We just basically ate and kicked yourself in the booty. There was no playing around with it. You had to do the 20 sets of body part. You take a 90-day out cycle. We go start 90 days out for a competition, and we start up probably maybe the first 8 weeks. You be like really banging it, heavy, and then maybe the last 8 weeks, you're going in there, you're probably training 5 sets of, you're doing probably 20 sets of 20 reps, every body part. That's just how it works. You have to dog it a little bit.
Have you trained twice a day? Or?
We train it twice a day. We train in the morning. Like we were training like we would do chest in the morning, back in the afternoon.
So
we do biceps in the morning, triceps in the morning, shoulders in the afternoon. We would do quads, front quads in the morning, hamstrings and calves in the afternoon.
Do you believe in overtraining, or there was not such a thing?
I think that overtraining comes in part when the person is not getting enough nutrients. I definitely believe in taking time off, actually pushing yourself to a certain limit, and then 4 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off. I think I like to play in that Pacific. Sometimes I go 6 consecutive days and then take a day off. But in that whole time I'm doing this, I'm always making sure that my supplements, my protein, my meals are on time. See, when you're doing that, it just sets a guideline for the body to respond to the hard work that you're putting through. I think a lot of people don't get enough nutrition. I think they do too much aerobics. I think the aerobics should be dialed down a little bit more, and you go in there and you hammer yourself with those basic exercises.
What is your approach to the diet? Do you do high carbs, high protein, or lower carbs, higher protein, higher fat?
You know, I've never eaten 3,000 calories. I eat no more than probably 2,800, 2,700.
Where does it come from? Most of the calorie intake. What does it come from? Proteins, fats, or carbs?
No, I have it broken down to where I'm probably getting about 400 grams of protein. I'm probably getting about 100 and some grams of carb. Yeah.
400.
Because see, what I do is I weigh all my food. And I also take each item and find out exactly how many calories in 2 ounces of broccoli or a cup of rice. I weigh everything. See, I don't think a lot of the guys today do that. They just eat.
So is it your diet throughout the whole year?
I diet throughout the whole year. I'll make changes. Like I might eat bread up the first 8 weeks, and then of a 90-day cycle, if I'm going to do a tour, an exhibition or something, I'll eat that first 8 weeks, I have bread. But then when I get in that final 8 weeks, I drop the bread. See, I just kind of do all that. The body likes variety. The more variety you include into developing the physique, the more appeasing the muscle in the body is going to respond to the growth rate. I think a lot of people don't do enough of that.
So this is what your basic approach was since day one, and it's the same now? It hasn't changed over the years?
I think the only thing might have changed is I've gotten more diligent because I've gotten older. I've read a lot about supplementation. I've included supplementation as a part of my whole program. And I have certain supplements that I'll take the first thing in the morning before I eat, and I'll take those supplements throughout the day, like glutamine, creatine, amino acid, or flaxseed oil, cod liver oil. I'll do those things first thing in the morning before I even eat food. Then I have my meal.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's what it is. You already your body has been without food for 7 to 8 hours. So what you need most when you get up in the morning is carbohydrates. The body wants fuel to burn, to build muscle, to have energy. And I think a lot of guys cut back on it too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
What would be your last meal of the day?
My last meal of the day would be like 5 eggs with maybe a yolk and 5 ounces of salad. I say I weigh everything. My smallest meal of the day is a salad of 5 ounces of lettuce, tomato, Romano lettuce and tomatoes, grated carrots or beets, a couple of tomatoes or tomato.
You know, Tom Platz, I talked to him before, and he was talking highly about you.
Mm-hmm.
He says when he walked into the gym and he saw you doing rows, he says it looked so artistic, it looked just perfect.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's a saying that bodybuilding is more mental than physical.
I think what it is, all of this is like, if I'm going to do a set, I'm so deep into that set that I know every muscle group. I've already put myself in that position for that muscle to do the work. And I think a lot of people just grab the weight and do the work. And I think you should set that body up. Upper back arch, I don't see a lot of people doing the upper back. Upper back arch is having that body in position. I walk the same way that I perform the exercises, so that it makes the muscle growth spurt a little bit easier. It comes a little bit quicker. To set yourself up in an exercise, rowing, setting yourself up now. A lot of people want to pull with the hand. What I want to do is pull with my elbow and lift myself up.
What does it take to get into that point where you truly understand yourself, where you truly understand the angles, you know, and the grips, because it all depends how you also grip the hand.
Exactly.
You know how you're going to feel in a certain position, you know. But I guess it takes more of a understanding what's going on with you during the set.
Exactly.
People are not present in it. Usually just jerk weight back and forth, and now there's like a ego competition who's gonna pull more weight.
More weight, exactly.
But the whole bodybuilding thing is not really about being strong. It's about looking strong.
Looking strong, looking big, looking beautiful. I've always thought that the way I've always trained, I think the same way. Even though throughout my career, I never weighed any more than probably 210 pounds. Everybody thought I was weighing 220, 220. Never, ever.
I would say you weigh about 230.
Yeah.
That's what I would
But
say.
see, but I always trained big. See, that was my whole concept of it. You train big, you train heavy, but you train in a sense of beauty. That's basically what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of beauty, I'm thinking of rhythm, I'm thinking of feel, I'm thinking of contracting that muscle. I can visualize what I want that muscle to look like. That's what my whole mindset of it is.
Ron, I mean, Robby, you want to hear this nowadays. You understand? You come to the gym and you want to see those type of artists. You know, I mean, it's kind of turning around right now with the classic physique, and people are trying to pay more attention now to the aesthetics.
Exactly, the look, exactly.
Rather than the size, it becomes more appealing even to the general public.
Exactly.
You know, what do you think destroyed bodybuilding today?
I think it just kept getting bigger and too much focus on handling as much weight as you can, and I think that defocus the person from actually creating a beautiful physique. I mean, I admire the guys and what they're doing today, but it's just, to me, it's not what I consider bodybuilding. I think they're just lifting weight.
When did you think it's ended? Like the more of artistic, like golden era, where do you think it was? Was it the end with Dorian Yates or with Lee Haney? Who took it to the next level?
One more time.
Like the bodybuilding, it changed at some point, right?
Mm-hmm. It changed 1988, 89, Gary Stridham them. I was in Europe at the FIBO, and I remember coming through the FIBO, and I'm all excited, and I want to see exactly what happened. I had been invited over there to like pose at the FIBO, and I remember coming around the corner, and then I walked by, and I looked up and I saw Gary Stridham. I had never seen anybody look like that in my life. I thought, holy smoke. Everybody had gotten bigger. And I thought, well, wow, it's going to be hard to compete in that league. But everybody had forgotten what bodybuilding was. Everybody just wanted to be big.
How did you keep your waist so small throughout the years? You know, because that's what's really sets apart bodybuilders of the past and bodybuilders of today. I feel like people today have wider hip. I don't know if the genetics is
they're just throwing the weight around. That's what it is. I mean, if you're throwing this kind of weight around, 60 pounds, like this here, you're definitely working the lower back area, the oblique area. And I think a lot of guys have gotten more into losing weight on their waist. I think a lot of them get into these machines. I think the deadlifts can do it. But it should be some filed down as you get close to the competition. I love to do deadlift, but when I get close to the competition, I put them aside. You got to go back to the basics, what actually makes the body look beautiful.
What do you think does the ab work helps really keep the?
Oh yeah, I think the biggest thing I do, I probably average about 200 twists with a broomstick in the morning, and I probably do about 200 leg raises in the afternoon. Right? I still do that. I've been doing that for. You're talking 27 years of my career, and I'm still doing it today. You see me doing it, yeah? Yeah. Oh yeah, I still do it because it's definitely, my waist is still 28, 29.
Yeah, and a lot of people give me a lot of shit. They're saying, "Oh man, this is not going to work." Even Sergio Brea was doing 1,000 reps every morning, and his waist was streamlined. I mean, if you think about it, if you overworking the muscle, it's going to shrink and it's going to get tighter.
Yeah, it's going to get tighter. I think one of the things that again, I think the guys just kind of got away from body beautiful and got more into body size.
Yes.
And that kind of, I think it hurt the sport to set it back to a degree, but you got people that don't really care about it, and they allow that to go forward. When now people are starting to see the difference. A lot of people don't want to see that. They don't want to spend the money to do it.
It doesn't look healthy.
It doesn't look healthy.
I guess bodybuilding is, of course, should represent health. I mean, that's what it's all about. Nowadays, it became very self-destructive and health-destructive sport. You know, because of the amount of drugs that's been used today and the types of drugs that are used today. Because back in the day, it was a lot different. I think people relied more on training, on dieting, rather than the.
Yeah, that was mandatory. You walk in goals as. You saw Arnold, you saw your Columbo, you saw Zane. And then
cannot
you
imagine
notice,
walking
you know
into
that they were doing something that you weren't doing right. And it was basically, I think it was the eating. I really do. I think because I followed that traditionally throughout my whole career. So it's definitely the eating habit. The better you eat, the more beautiful the body's going to
Do
be.
you feel like the 2,500 calories that you're consuming kind of helped you also keep your stomach intact?
Exactly.
Because if you're overeating,
If you're overeating, the body's not going to digest all that food. You know, I think it's just smaller meals throughout the day. I probably eat about 6, 7 small meals throughout the day, but I'm having them every 2 to 3 hours. And I think that's mandatory to the time
what is
clock.
the serving of protein in every meal?
I think the serving of protein is probably about 4 ounces.
4 ounces?
Yeah, I keep it down 4 ounces.
Wow.
Sometime I'll raise it up to maybe 6 ounces, according to how I'm feeling. You know, if I'm feeling a little bit tired or more, I'll raise it up. If not, I keep it basically at 4 ounces.
I'll ask you a question. Genetics. What role is it a key thing in bodybuilding, or is it something that you shouldn't take, you know, as a showstopper for yourself? A lot of people come into the gym and say, "Oh, I don't have the genetics for it," and they never accomplish anything. Do you believe that genetics is is a key to success in this sport?
I think the body reacts faster. I think you're able to put on muscle a little bit quicker. I think the body responds to exercises at a faster rate. Because I've seen my own physique, you know, and I think a lot of it is the small joints. The small joints creates an illusion, especially if you are able to put on the size.
Absolutely.
Exactly, so that the body looks amazing on stage under the lights.
Yeah.
When you walk out on stage under the lights give you 5 pounds automatically. So I would always walk out and let everybody else walk out first, and I would walk out to the line and go like that. I'm a little over the line. The judges can't see me. So when I look in the lineup, everybody's a little bit back here. So I always look bigger than the rest of the guys. Everybody will walk out. I'll let them all walk out, and I'll walk out, and I go just like this. Boom, stand there. Because the distance I have on them, they're here.
Yeah, I understand.
You see what I'm saying?
I've seen Phil Keith doing it.
I'm right here. I'm going to look bigger.
He's already bigger than anyone. We can still cross.
Exactly.
A little
And
bit.
see, they're so into themselves, they're not even looking at that situation. But I always thought that bodybuilding is about beauty. It's about symmetry, about shape. It's about how the muscles run into each other, the separation of the muscle groups, the fibrousness.
How do you keep track of that? How do you keep track of that beauty?
My eating. That's 90%, 95% of it. I'm really diligent about my eating. You know, if I can't get what I want, I'd rather eat fruit till I can get what I want. Just like today. See, that was perfect time, and the steak was perfect because I've been probably about 3 hours without really having food, and that steak just kind of calmed the body right back down immediately. So I know what to do, how to keep my body acclimated, so I'm constantly building muscle and burning fat. That's why I look like I do now. Seriously.
Just wanted to mention about steak. What kind of place it takes in your diet, and because I feel like steak is the best type of protein.
Yeah.
And it's the best for growth, but I feel like overeating steak can also create digestive problems.
Yeah, I think it's what I try to do is I always get it the day before I train legs or the day before I train back.
So you don't eat it every day?
I don't eat it every day.
Okay.
Yeah, and that way that your testosterone level is regulated. The body regulates its own testosterone output. It also regulates your own spurts of growth hormone into your bloodstream. It also regulates the thyroxine that's released by the thyroxine gland.
Because I heard that when you eat steak right after you train, it kind of raises your testosterone automatically as well.
I do it too. I do it sometimes after I train a body part. Yeah, just according. I kind of go by everything how I feel, and I think feeling's gotten lost in it. A lot of guys don't pay attention to that. They just eat, and to me, I eat more by feeling.
Absolutely. I always track how bloated I am or how light I am after certain foods. So that kind of teaches my body. My body teaches me
exactly
on what nutrients I should take.
What it needs,
to
exactly.
feel better, to fill up before the training. And that's something that, because I'm always in here, I'm always connected to myself. Because bodybuilding doesn't really end here, and it doesn't end after I eat.
Exactly.
It's always.
It's
24/7.
24/7,
I
always.
wake up and I have to drink some water, and I look at my body and the way it looks.
Yep.
And I understand, okay.
You know what you need to do.
So
Exactly.
a lot of people don't really pay attention, but if you're really truly serious about this as an art, and you look yourself in the mirror every day and when you pose, because I feel like this is where you truly discover your weak points.
Exactly.
During posing.
You can look at yourself when you
know what I
pose.
mean? Yeah.
Posing is You know, my whole theory of it is you preparing for an event, you should pose as often as you possibly can. And when you get down to that last month, you should be posing like twice a day. And what that does help refine the physique. It helps create muscle separation. It allows the water in the skin, on the skin, to be driven into the muscle tissue. That is one of the best ways to keep the body being hard
People
and
today
separated.
don't pose until the last week.
Yeah, but they're wasting their time because they're not going to be able to transfer that water. You need to do that the whole month going toward that event.
Hey man, I'm a big fan because you are in the zone. Plus, what I noticed, you also work out in your sunglasses to make eye contact with people, right?
Yeah, I've worn the glasses pretty much my whole career later on because I wanted to just be able to focus on. I thought if I could get into a deeper set of focus, that my body would transform itself again. And when I retired in 2001, I wanted to see how my body would react to doing less. And what I noticed out of that aspect of it was that because you're coming off the drug cycle, I noticed that the clothes that I was wearing wasn't fitting me as they were when I was competing, when I was on the drug cycle. I'm saying to myself. And the fact of it was because of your body is cleaning itself out. When I went to the VA hospital to get myself checked because I'm a veteran, they noticed there was a slight liver irritation. So what I did is I went back and started taking dandelion root and milk thistle. When I went back to do all of that, I had no problem. I've never had any health issues from 27 years using of drugs.
Can I ask you a question? I know it's like a very sensitive topic.
No, it's not for me.
Okay, great.
I feel comfortable with it.
Because nowadays world is fucking crazy about drugs. I see the kids and what they put on YouTube, what they're using, what they're suggesting, what cycles. I mean, it's so self-destructive. I mean, it makes you stupid at the same time. And they feel like this is what they have to do to get where you were. And the other legends, like, again, the drugs are considered as the key in bodybuilding
Not the
today.
key.
You know, and the dosages, that's something that I would love to ask you, and a lot of people out there.
Please ask me, because I feel comfortable with it.
What is the difference between now and then? What you see? Because I'm sure you're exposed to today's information and what people are using. How much less were you taking?
A lot less. See, that was the whole concept. I think what got lost in there when I came to California in 1975, I weighed 205 pounds. That's exactly what I weigh today. So my body didn't change that much when I used antibiotics. I think what increased the fact of it was that I was actually really had good genetics. The body was like primed for change. And when I got into training with all of them, my body just took off. In those days, the basic, I'm gonna say Arnold was training for the Olympia. I was training for the Mr. World.
You were partners?
Yeah, I was training for Mr. World.
Wow.
And see, I didn't know that I didn't know that you were using steroids. Nobody hadn't talked to me about this yet, Arnold. Nobody had said to me, Robby, you take it? Yeah. Nobody told me anything when I came to 75. Nobody told me that you had to take anabolic steroids. I thought you just do it and eat. I had no clue. And then I think it was about 2 weeks.
How much harder did you train?
Trained exactly. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's what got me.
Exactly.
I was training with guys that were on drugs. And I said to myself, I'm handling the same weight. I look better than they look. This is what I thought. And it was true because I didn't take, the first shot I took was Primobolan Depot. Primobolan Depot in those days was huge because it was very anabolic in the body.
Yeah.
The body, but you just get, just muscle from every place because you're so anabolic. And the leaner you are, the better Primobolan work because it just puts
like
on the
majority of
muscle.
any drug.
Yeah, it puts on the muscle. Then Joe Weedick asked me to come to the office. He said, listen, we all want to take you to see my doctor. So from that point it all started right there for myself. All I took for years was one shot of Deca every 2 weeks, calcium, B12, glutathione, amino acids, calcium intravenous. That's what I did for 27 years. I never took testosterone, never used testosterone in my life. So I didn't have any idea that you
Today it's
use
a base of every cycle. Today
It's in every cycle. Some of the cycles are like 1,000 milligram shots.
Why didn't you use test back in the day?
I don't know.
I did.
Nobody's talking about it. I didn't have the knowledge. I hadn't really studied it yet. So by the time I was mid-career, I started studying all of this stuff, and I realized, wow. So I've been missing out. I didn't know exactly what and how, but I just started doing a lot of reading, and I realized that the best antibiotic to take was Decadorobin because it definitely the only one that be a muscle. The rest of them don't be a muscle. That's my whole concept of it. I've never used Winstrol B. I've never used these kind of things. I never took Dianabol, never used it. I never used Anavar.
Danny told me he used only Deca.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That was it.
Yeah, Deca was the prime thing.
Because I feel like Deca retains more water in you rather than...
It does.
And you become really puffy.
What?
So you kind of become puffy. So I don't know if it's good to prep for the contest using Deca.
When you're using it the way they were doing, the way they had us doing it, the Deca, it's a building drug. It builds your body. It doesn't just make you hold a lot of water. Yeah, it makes you hold a lot of water, but it also barriers into where you eat too. See, that eating is like 90%, 95%. That other 5% is the drug. The other 5% is probably supplementation and food. So I had dialed it down. I had got it all down. I got a whole book on it.
Gotcha.
So I know exactly how to make my body
I don't
work.
want to get into this because it's like a whole another world.
A whole other world.
We're going to be talking about this for hours. We can absolutely record something.
Definitely.
I want you to give an advice to the young audience, the people behind the camera. They're dreaming about being a bodybuilder, doing bodybuilding. What would be your advice?
My advice would be learn how to eat. That's the first thing you have to do. You get that food down, then the body can transform itself. You can take all the drugs you want, but if the food is off, the drug is off. You can't make the body work off the drug. It has to have the nutrients properly balanced each time out. 5, 6 meals, you have to do it consistently. You can't expect that drug to actually make your body. It's not going to happen. You got to work your balls off. You got to work. You can't be in there playing around, jacking yourself off. That's going to happen. You got to get in that work. And if you work and combining that with the food, I'm going to say the food, the water, the nutrition, then you see an awesome physique.
Robby, thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you so much for this time. Thank you for bringing me and telling me about this gym. Because you told me about Stearns, guys. We're at Stearns Gym. This is the oldest gym in the whole United States. This is the history is in here, right?
It definitely.
Who
for
worked
sure.
out over here?
Yeah.
Who were the guys that they were big superstars that worked out over here? Who came through here? Like Arnold and Franco. I mean, everybody was here, right?
Arnold, Franco, Zane, Waller. Then Danny came out after that. Bob Birdsong. That was pretty much
Big
about
Pearl.
it.
Big Pearl.
Bill Pearl really was big, had his own gym. And when I first started out, Bill Pearl was one of the people that gave me a place to work. I mean, he opened up his door. He allowed me to come in the gym and train for free because I didn't have any money. So he was one of the people that totally supported me.
But this is the gym.
This is the gym. I love this gym.
That capped the feel, the atmosphere of those days. And this is an amazing gym to visit. I want to tell you that I'm doing this podcast, and it's a big deal because to be able to talk to these people and get information and advice from them is priceless because today's fitness world is different. And the information you get up there is also very different.
Very different.
But it doesn't create the physique, the character of what these people
Nope,
have.
it does not.
And the legacy, because this is the people that are leaving their legacy behind for us to learn from and to carry on. So I want you to guys tune into this podcast and truly take it into your life because we're not just stressing air over here. We're giving you this really wonderful, beneficial piece of information. Okay, guys, one more time. We have Robby Robinson, the Black Prince Clothing Collection right now in the stores.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, goldenesthetics.com. You guys check it out. This is
Hey, definitely.
here.
Go online and get yourself a t-shirt.
There's a t-shirt. There's
Roll up,
absolutely.
hoodie, get the whole 9 yards.
It's a cool way of actually supporting the legend and bringing this old school feel to your gyms. And this whole clothing is all made here. It's not just a way to make $1. It's my passion.
Yeah.
And that's what I love doing, and I'm bringing a lot of style to it, modern style. And I feel like it's something very, very different. It's very unique and something very, very cool. I really appreciate all your support, guys. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. I thank my cameraman that came out to San Diego to record us. I appreciate you, Robby. Robby, thank you so much, man. We'll be recording more videos together. And we're actually planning on doing a really cool series of training next week. And Robby is working on his very first ebook for the arms.
Massive arm.
He used to. I mean, he still does have the best arm peaks. I mean, bicep peaks, something that I'm missing. So I'm probably going to be learning from you.
Definitely, we're going to work on it.
So thank you guys for subscribing to our channel. This is us from San Diego.
Thank you.
Robby, thank you.
Appreciate it. No problem,
awesome.
guys.